here is the problem. We want to write a program that will bounce or move the ball 4 times back and forth. We create the window. We have the code that creates the ball. Let's look at the algorithm by which the ball is going to be moved. In order to move the ball 4 times, I need a loop to move the ball to the other edge, so the ball will go to the right. Then when the ball reaches the right edge, we need to move the ball to the other edge, and when it reaches the left side, move the ball to the other edge, etc., etc., etc. So we have this statement is the same as this one, which is the same as this one. So if we repeat statements time and again, we use a loop. But within the loop, the way we move the ball is, in a sense, step, stop, step, stop, step, stop, etc., etc., etc. And then within the next move of the ball to the other edge, we have again step, stop, step, stop. We have the step, stop, in a sense, loop, and that loop is contained within the move the ball to the other edge. Let's see how the ball moves and try to relate to the algorithm we have on the left. I'm going to start the motion of the ball, so we're in this move the ball to the other edge statement. We step and stop. We go to the next move ball statement with step and stop inside. The next move ball to the other edge with step and stop, etc., etc. So this is an example of an assignment that will require 2 loops, and 1 loop is inside the other. In other words, and one more time, you see that move the ball, move the ball, move the ball is the same statement time and again, can be implemented as a repetition, and within that context, we have the motion of the ball that we have achieved by stepping, stopping, stepping, stopping, stepping, stopping, etc., etc., etc. Now that we know what we have to do, we will see next how we can translate, in a sense, this algorithm into a Python code. I will replace the statement step, that it's part of an algorithm, is not Python, with a Python code, which means that I have to move circle W object dot move, a method. Let's say we'll move it horizontally by 5 units and no units vertically, so it will go only horizontally. And now I'm going to replace the stop or the delay with the time.sleep method. Let's delay for 0.02. And I have to replace this with a Python code, replace this with a Python code, replace this with a Python code, etc., etc., etc. And we see now here we have repetition. These 2 lines are the same as these 2 lines, which are the same as these 2 lines, with the next 2 lines, etc., etc., etc. Take this off. In other words, I want to repeat these 2 lines time and again, and we perform repetition by using a for or a while loop. I'm going to use a for again. So for j, I need a different variable in range, and how many times I want to move the ball by 5 units. So 5 into 800, 150 and change. So let me try 150. And of course, I have to indent these 2 lines to indicate that they are not part of this outer for, but the inner for. And let me run this program. We run, and here it is, and the ball disappears. And the ball disappears because we move always in positive 5, which means always to the right. But that's not what we want. Therefore, we have to stop the program execution and fix it. Cannot be 5 all the time. Sometimes has to be 5 to move to the right. Sometimes has to be a negative number to move to the left. If something changes value, positive 5 or negative 5, we cannot have a constant, as we call them. We need a variable. So I'm going to replace the value 5 with a variable, and let me call it, say, step size. And when we use a variable, needless to say, we have to initialize the variable before we use it. So I'm going to go and initialize it, step size. And every time we go around, we'll go to the right. But when we finish and we go back in, we would like this to be a negative number. And we do that. This is a trick. I want to change to a negative value, to a negative 5, when we finish moving in each direction. And that's why it's not part of the inner loop, but part of the outer loop. And that is step size times -1. Every time it executes, we'll make the 5 a positive and then negative and then positive. This is a little bit of math, but for the time being, take my word, it will do the job. This is an improvement. We may have to do something, but let's see how it will work so far. Run the module. Have to bring it into, okay. All right, here we go. It bounces back and forth every time we go around. Let's hope it will stop now, and it does. The way it works, we go into forced loop first. K will be 0 because K is within the range of 0 to 4. That's the meaning of the range 4. We'll go inside. J will become 0. We'll execute these two lines. J will become 1. We'll execute this. J will become 3. We'll execute this. Again and again, 150 times. The ball moves all the way to the right. Then when J becomes 150, we come out, we execute this line. This line changes the sign of the step size, positive to negative. We go back to this statement, K will become 1. This is within the range. Go inside. J now starts from 0 again. And then we go time 150 times, these two lines. Another ball moves -5. When it finishes, exits this loop, the system will multiply the negative number by 1. That will become a positive number. We go back. That will become 2. Go inside, and the same process. Here is an example of a loop that is inside this loop. And it's possible to have a loop, a third loop inside, a fourth loop. So here is an example of using a loop within a loop. You can have for, you can have while, you can have any combination of for and while in the inner loops. You can have for outside, while inside, for out, while outside, for inside, all the combination. I hope that this clarifies the notion of nested loops. Thank you.